And I've said it before on this program, I think that Noam Chomsky is like...
So he's, okay, so Kyle is talking about, you guys know this Iranian scientist, right? Who was just assassinated by Mossad agents within Iran's border, okay? So he's saying that how do we, like, this is very unfair. Like, we just went and take down one of their scientists, but like, what if somebody did this to us, okay? And for the people who don't know, Kyle Kulinski is very, very anti-interventionist, but not to the level that I'm anti-interventionist. Like, he doesn't want no war. Like, he goes beyond just like no war. I mean, war sometimes is justified, but he goes no sanctions, no nothing, no involvement. He's very anti the sanctions that have been put on Iran, okay? And I've criticized him for them as well. And he misrepresents a lot of things about Qasem Soleimani and Iran's involvement around the Middle East. And he has basically come off as a person that is just defending the Islam. He says he doesn't, but effectively he's defending the Islamic Republic of Iran in half of his videos. Half of his videos that is about Iran, right? In this situation, he's like, it was wrong. Like, he thinks that killing Qasem Soleimani was wrong and human rights violations or whatever. I think that was like one of the few things that I think Trump did right. And now I hear that it wasn't even his idea. So there goes that. But he thinks that killing the scientists, right? The nuclear scientist in Iran just recently, last week, Fakhrizadeh, killing him was also wrong, and he's trying to take us through thought experiments to show us why this whole thing was wrong. Okay, so that's the context. Okay, let me see what else you guys are saying. Is he related to someone with political power in Iran? That's why they... No. Oh, who? Oh, that... Yeah, we don't know. That information I don't have, okay? We could just be, like, wondering about that, but there's no information about that. Whether that guy... Yeah, we don't know. But anyways.
God, it was intentional. It was intentionally done, and so there's going to be a backlash. That's the way that these things...
All right, wait. Hold on.
Overlook it as if it's like a...
So he's saying, like, do you think the Iranian government is just going to overlook the execution of the top nuclear scientists as if it was a
whoopsie?
As if it was a whoopsie. And, you know, I don't know, but if they don't have a reaction, it's because they're desperate, maybe. Maybe if... Guys, if they don't have a reaction, which would be very surprising, but if they don't have a reaction, that means the sanctions, the devastating sanctions, are working because they're so desperate for a new deal with the United States that they're on their best behavior, okay? I mean, this is a win-win for Israel. If there is a reaction, they would be like, okay, look at the reaction. We can't deal with Iran. And if there is no reaction, they're like, yeah, sit there, be a good boy while we take out your nuclear scientists, and you don't even react. This puts Iran's government is like really, really tough. I'm happy that it puts them in a very tough situation, that they don't, damned if you do, damned if you don't. I mean, if they don't, they look ridiculous and weak and pathetic. And if they do react, if the reaction is significant, it's going to really make it difficult to have for United States to have a deal with Iran. Okay, so this was a very intelligent, very the timing of this assassination was perfect. It was a very intelligent move by Israeli intelligence. And the guys, the carrying out of the assassination was like, you know how you watch 007 movies and you feel like, come on, they don't have that in real world. Like, that's too insane. But this was like such a sophisticated takeout. And guys, it was so sophisticated that he had his wife right next to him, and nobody got shot except the guy that threw himself in front of the scientist. But the wife was unharmed. Nobody died except the scientist. And apparently, like, satellites were used, artificial intelligence were used, an automatic gun in a car on the side roads was used. Like, the more you learn about how this assassination of the scientist was carried out, the more impressed you are by the people that were involved. Like, god damn it, that was like such a high-tech advanced attack. Okay, So I think it was fantastic. By the way, the reason why I support like taking out Soleimani and taking out like this nuclear scientist is because usually these are alternatives to outright war, to going out and destroying Iran's nuclear capacity and stuff like that. Okay, I mean, these are the intelligent ways to really to disarm Iran's government with very little collateral damage. Like, I very much support. I mean, unless I hear something or an argument or some new information that changed my mind, I very much support this assassination of this nuclear scientist. Okay. Troil, that's a very complicated question and it requires its own live streams. Yeah. Okay, let's continue. Oh, Deborah. Hi, Deborah. I didn't recognize you with your Santa hat. JFK level. No, beyond JFK level. So this is troll question that I might have to do an entire live stream on. This is Soraya saying it was Assassin's Creed. But yes. Hold on, continue.
Of course not. It was intentional. It was intentionally done. And so there's going to be a backlash.
By the way, this is going to be relevant to all the stories that we covered. Okay, give me a few seconds. You will get there.
That's the way that these things work. Now, the thing that I first go to every time I hear a story like this.
Okay, so here comes a thought experiment. Okay, and by the way, just to let you guys know how smart Susanna is, I didn't look. I was like, am I being too judgmental here, or is this like, am I noticing something here that I'm just imagining? So I sometimes like show things to Ali Rizvi or Susanna just to test what they're, without telling them what their reactions are. And she came to the same conclusion like this. Like, she just shouted out at me like that. Like, you're like, yes, Susanna's really smart. Okay, so if Susanna noticed the same thing immediately, the same thing I did, this must be correct. Okay, this must be correct. We both notice the exact same thing. Okay, so let's see if you guys are going to notice the same thing. So let's pay attention to this thought experiment. Okay,
this is the Chomsky rule, and I've said it before on this program. I think that Noam Chomsky is like the only person who actually believes in international law, cares about international law, and applies international law. And so his rule is just, flip the people in the story here. So what would happen if it was Iran that assassinated a top Israeli nuclear scientist, or it was Iran that assassinated a top American nuclear scientist? Could you imagine the reaction from our government or the Israeli government, or even imagine the reaction of the media in the United States of America? I mean, it would clearly be viewed accurately as a brazen act of war.
You guys get it?
As an aggressive act, as a violation of international law. And my guess is we would immediately go to war. There wouldn't be any, build up or tit for tat response where it's like, okay, they killed one of our scientists, so now we'll kill one of their scientists. No, it would have been like, all right, let's go. It's time to suit up.
Do you guys? Anyone? Come on. You're already behind Susanna and getting this. You're already slower than Susanna. Nope. Not that. Not that. No. Nope. What me and oh yeah, there you go. Troll. Actually, you have an excuse. This is okay. So he said, if we reverse the situations, for example, if Iran took one of their nuclear scientists or somebody like that, then that would, by the media, be seen as
immediately go to war.
No.
United States of America. I mean, it would clearly be viewed accurately.
It's important that when he was describing the media, this word here was very important, okay? Because he didn't just say it would be, because Susanna was like, wait, maybe we're being too judgmental, because he just said that's how it would be viewed by the media. But then he added accurately, okay?
Or even imagine the reaction of the media in the United States of America.
United States.
I mean, it would clearly be viewed accurately.
So it's not just that the media would see it like that, but they would be correct to see it like that, because he added the word accurately, okay?
As a brazen act of war.
It would be a brazen act of war. So he's acting like we don't have, like, he's like, oh, what if we flip it around? What if we flip it around? This would be seen as an act of war, okay? So look at what we're doing to Iran. Of course they're going to see it as an act of war. If we did it to us, we would be doing we would see it as an act of war, and we would go to war with it. Accurately, we would see it as an act of war. Well, Kyle, is this an act of war then? Are all of these hostages and putting American and European citizens on death row, is this an act of war? And might I remind you that this dude was military. He was part of the IRGC. And he was in the process of creating a nuclear weapons for a state sponsor of terror. And these people are just citizens, civilians. All the hostages. Is that not an act of war then? Okay, so if you think going after a military scientist who was making nuclear weapons for a state sponsor of terror, if assassinating that person, that is accurately could be defined as a brazen act of war, that would naturally lead for United States to go to war, or if it was flipped around, to go to war with Iran, then hasn't the conditions already been met? So wait a minute, Kyle, I think you're getting a little bit too far, because you were anti-sanction. So guys, we have different levels, okay? We have non-intervention at all, no intervention, sanctions, going to war. Okay? So Kyle was like, here, I'm on the sanctions level. And apparently, based on the standards, if we want to apply the standards that Kyle is having right now, he's going beyond just sanctions. Because if we apply, he's like, if we flip it around, well, I'm sorry, but it has been flipped around since the past 35 goddamn years. American soldiers are being picked one by one by Iranian proxies around the region. Taking American hostages has been the go-to strategy for Iran's government since day one of the revolution. Well, maybe a week after. But so for United States to go to war with Iran, you don't even need to worry about for that to be justified based on these standards. You don't even need the whole nuclear problem. You just could this is what I always say, guys. Like, people are like, Armin, do you think the sanctions are justified? I don't know about the nuclear stuff. I don't know. Maybe it's not justified. Guys, if you just throw those whole nuclear weapons out the window, just this hostage taking, just this going after people, other country citizens, and putting them on death row, that by itself alone justifies not just sanctions, but cutting off all ties. But Kyle is not even saying that. Kyle is saying it justifies war, apparently. Ooh, like, Kyle, calm down. I thought you were a non-interventionist.
And subscribe! Everyone! Every single one of you is watching! Subscribe! Do it now! Do it! Do it now!